Okay. So again, the second quote is, education is the key that unlocks the golden door to freedom. And how needed is that right now in our time when we're standing for our rights and freedoms? So education, and that leads me to Nelson Mandela, and his quote is, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." So there we have it. I'll end with a short quote by Albert Einstein that made me laugh. So education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. So did he say that? I don't know. It was on that website that brought up different quotes. So since it's a forum where we're all going to hopefully be able to share, discuss, express ideas, any topics that comes to mind. And how about right now, let's start with each and every one of you taking 2 to 3 minutes to introduce yourselves, where you're from, why are you here, why is education of interest to you. So raise your hand if you'd like to start. All right, so there's the reaction down, but Tasha, I see that you, can you unmute yourself, and then Brian, you'll be next, because she really raised her hand for real.
I should have used the reaction button. Sorry about that. Yeah, hi, my name's Tasha, and I live mostly in Invermere, but I have a business and a home in Calgary, but I kind of fled in 2020 out to the woods with my kids, and I pulled them out of school. I have 3 boys. Luckily, I had a bit of a spiritual awakening, like many of us did in 2020, very early on. And I kind of thought like the whole world would do the same thing, like within 6 months or so. But, you know, my naivety was pretty thick. So I pulled them out in May of 2020 and ran away to our cabin and decided that the absurdity of the public health measures and what was going to be, I just had a vision of what was going to happen in the fall. And I thought it was not a safe environment for my kids. So I decided I was going to homeschool, and it was going to be amazing because they love their mom and I love them. And I thought it's just going to be so great. And I bought all the books and did all the curriculum and like set up my kitchen, just like a school. And I thought it was going to be so great. And it was literally like 3 hours that it was like an epic fail. And they hated it and I hated it. And there was a lot of coercion and a lot of stress because I couldn't understand why they wouldn't want to do this work that they did for their teachers the last few years with me. So anyway, I was very lucky early on to find through Kelly Brogan, who's a holistic psychiatrist, Dana Martin, who became my mentor the last 3 years and took me on as a protege. And I have just totally dove deep into the philosophy of unschooling, and it works for our family. And so consequently, I've become an unschooling advocate and a speaker, and I have group coaching classes and I do one-on-ones, and I'm helping other parents find a soft landing as they exit the matrix and learn to live harmoniously with their children again at home. So we don't do curriculum, we don't do homework, but we do absolutely everything. And I work very hard on deprogramming myself and helping others to do the same on what we think our children ought to know at any given time, and just giving them freedom of choice and freedom of mind to learn and know what they want when they want, just like adults want. So yeah, that's my story.
Tasha, thank you very much. It comes to mind, I listened to your podcast with Kid Carson, right? You had, and it was super inspiring. And I would love for you to present in one of our calls. If you're interested, please contact me. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Mhm. Anyway, I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to listen. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, Brian and then Rita.
Yes, I'm Brian. I'm from Edmonton, and I remember doing an introduction similar to this with Mary Jane. And I'm not really highly involved with education, but I'll give you a little bit of my experience in my life, and you'll see how that would relate to education. In grade 1, there was me and another kid that we ran ahead of the whole class, and from grade 1, I started into the grade 3 book. So then the next year, I'm in grade 2. So it was kind of boring. I remember also in grade 3, we took French. It was the first year that we took French was in grade 3. Then I went to a different school, and that was in grade 4. They started their French in grade 4. So it was a repeat of what I already did in grade 3. Another time, I think it must have been grade 5 or 6. The teacher wanted to play a game in math class, and they said, I want to put a student at a desk with another student, and whoever answers this math question first will advance to the next desk. So then they went through a few students went through a few desks, and then they came up to me, and after I went through the whole class, it wasn't a game anymore. So I was very good at math. And then grade 7 or 8, they gave us this test, and they told us it has nothing to do with your score in school, but we just want you to take this test. So we started doing this test, and I didn't understand the test and what it was really all about. And the first few questions, I didn't understand anything. Then I kind of figured it out what they were doing. And I didn't know it at the time, but it was an IQ test. And they said, we'll tell you what your results are later. And that was about a month or 2 later, they came back and they said, the results of your IQ test. And they told us what the different levels, what they meant. And it turned out that I have a genius IQ. So I never really applied myself in school, and I was a little bit of a rebel and loose lifestyle. Never applied myself in school, but I got through school relatively easy. So the school system, I think, really failed me. I had far more potential than I was able to find in school, standard school. One of the big problems I hear, like what Hila was talking about, giving children the ability to consent to a vaccine, that they could easily be manipulated into doing something like that. I find that very troubling. And I certainly understand that there is a great need for homeschooling. And what was it? I was looking at something else today, but I won't go on too much longer. That's good enough for me. I just wanted to say, the school system failed me, and I'm not really, my taxes. Yeah, they send me, I'm trying to get my property taxes lowered, and they give me this sheet of paper and it says, so much money goes towards schooling. And I do not want to support the public school system. I would enjoy supporting a private system, somebody who's going to do this in the private. And I wonder if there's some way that we can do this and get something like that set up. So I'll end with that. I yield.
Thank you so much, Brian. So first of all, Tasha, you shared about shift in your perception and your own need of changing your mind of what schooling, homeschooling, and then discovering unschooling. And this is your passion and how you work with your children. And now, Brian, you were describing the fact that your experience in the school system was actually completely not fulfilling, and and it seems to me like it didn't really help you to manifest your potential.
No.
And so that's quite saddening. And I can tell you from my experience being within the public systems, private systems, that it's almost designed to fail, because just take, for example, the fact that in a classroom of almost 25, 30 students, there's only one teacher. How can a child needs be met like that? I mean, I had only one son, sometimes with a friend, and when I'm an adult with two kids, I can barely, answer all their needs in the moment. So let alone one teacher in a classroom full of so many children with different needs, with different abilities. And yeah, so to the end of what you were sharing, the New Earth Network and learning pods, part of our plan is actually train facilitators in each province. It's really in its inception, but we would love donations and help in any way. Oh, Tasha, I see one of your children is there. Hi there. You want to say hi to us? Yes. So I hear you. How can we find solution? What other ways of education for our children is already here? And I mean, Tasha chose the unschooling. There's homeschooling. There's learning pods. Perhaps other ways that we can enjoy learning with our children, or have our children enjoy learning in a different community setting other than the public or government schools. Thank you, Tasha and Brian, and over to you, Rita.
Hi, I'm from Lethbridge, Alberta, and I've been with Life Force since the very, very, very beginning. And I taught for 39 and a half years in Lethbridge, 35 years as a full-time teacher. And then when I finished teaching, I wasn't sure if I wanted to substitute teach, but I did. And I taught from preschool to grade 8. Loved every minute, because I could do anything, basically anything I wanted to do in the classrooms, because I knew the teachers that had hired me. I was not a typical classroom teacher. For the first 15 years, I was a special education teacher from grade 1 to 6 and a phys ed teacher. Those are my two majors at university. And the rest of my career was grade 3, 4, and 4 for the last 21 years. But the students in my classroom did not spend a lot of time sitting in their seats. I didn't believe that the majority of my classroom was open area, so that the kids could, if they were being antsy in their seats or whatever, they could go and work on the carpet with whatever they were doing. At university, I took a course on projects. So my, I would say my most successful time in my classroom was working with children in their projects. At the beginning of the year, I would ask them, each of them, to write down all of their interests. And we would do projects within that area using different, I have to get some of the curriculum into the courses. I got in enough trouble not doing that, but so I I don't think I ever had a class that did not enjoy their day at school. Because they were doing some things that they were interested in, not just because it was part of the curriculum. And yeah, I think I got away with quite a bit of things that weren't normal. And that's why I enjoyed teaching so much. So yes, and I was part of the education group with Life Force also for the year and a half or whatever with Norma Jean. Okay. Yes. I yield. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Rita. It sounds like you have a lot of experience, and I wonder if you can, if you're interested in connecting to some learning pods in your area as a consultant or as volunteer with all your gifts, skills, and talents. I mean, we're about 12 people on this call, and part of, I think, what we want to do is network. So if we have teachers, if we have parents, if we have people that are within same province and they want to keep conversation going with respect to, you know, okay, well, how can we work on solutions together? So yeah.
I have two grandchildren that 2 and 4 years old grandsons. So I am working with them at school. The oldest one goes to Montessori full time. So I use a lot of the Montessori techniques too. So yeah, I am in contact with parents in this community and outside that are doing homeschooling with their children, and so I am very very busy trying to help different situations and helping my own grandchildren.
Wonderful.
And I'm really looking forward to talking about the transgenderism, because I have a daughter who has 2 grandchildren who has a very different attitude about this community. And so I would like to share some of her concerns with inclusion, etc. So yeah, and she just doesn't have time to come on these. Is this going to be, yes, it is recorded. She would love to listen to the recording, because then she can maybe give some insight to what she believes.
Yes, and thank you for mentioning. So G123 curriculum is something that we can definitely discuss and share our opinions, our thoughts, concerns, suggestions, for sure. So thank you, Rita. Let's continue in the circle, and after everybody is done, we can keep the conversation flowing. Wendy, your hand is up, so please go ahead.
I'm sorry, I don't have my camera tonight, so I'm not on camera, otherwise I would be. I'm working with families whose children have been taken by Children's Aid. One of the excuses that they use to take the children is that the parents have removed their children from school. I've asked a couple of the parents to come on here tonight. They're not able to tonight, but one young woman has always had problems right from the early days of schooling, for math, for reading, for writing. She's a gifted artist. She's already sold some of her work. She's only 15 years old. She does CAD drawings at home. She has a above average vocabulary. She has a very above average knowledge of things about the world, but she doesn't do well in school. School is a very hurtful place for her because she gets bullied. And she's had, bad experiences with one teacher. And so this is just one case. When her mother took her out of school and homeschooled her and had, people come one-on-one with her, she did so much better. She was so much more not nervous, but the Children's Aid get after her and make the mother put her in school. Of course, she likes the socialization. but she has a terrible time reading, writing, math. She's an artist. She is a self-taught person. She's a person who learns one-on-one. She doesn't learn well in the classroom system. She's trying to, but oftentimes she cries in the bathroom because she has such a terrible time at school. And because of this, the CAS has taken her away from her mother, who is a very good mother in a very good home. It's an excuse. And I hope that she could meet with you or connect with you, Hila, so that she could really explain to the judge, because the lawyer hasn't done a good job at explaining that how well the daughter does at home, how much better that is for her than being in school. Of course, it's an excuse. Another parent can't put his child in school because they come and take him from the school. He's a Native child. His father goes to work and is afraid, to put him in the school because the school, the police, and the children's hospital are referrals systems for the child protection services. Child protection services are taking way more children today than ever should be taken. 17% of all the children in Alberta are in foster care, and they're the funnel for child sex trafficking. And it's very internationally networked, between Canada, US, England, Australia. So, and I have another family that's fleeing this week. They're going to run away from their town in Ontario. They're going to come to Alberta because they've already had one child taken. He was sent to a criminal relative, and he's being child sex trafficked, and she's afraid for her other two younger girls. So I am very much for unschooling and for homeschooling. And these parents, they need to meet with you or connect with you so that they can stand up in court and tell those judges that this is what their children need. This is what's the best interest and solution for their children. Another mother took her children out of school. Her child was sexually abused by the principal. He has herpes at 6 years old. Now, how does a 6-year-old get herpes? The herpes will be in his body for the rest of his life, and he can pass that on to his wife or his children. And so there was another case where the mother took the children out of the school system, and the school system and the children's aid say that these children are being isolated, that they're being disadvantaged because they're being homeschooled. So for myself, I'm very interested in, homeschooling in private schools and schools where we protect our children from so many things, the vaccine, the sex trafficking, the sex training that they get, and that we support these parents who have to, for their own children's security, take them out of the school system and protect them. I yield.
Thank you, Wendy. I feel like I need a moment to take a deep breath. This is a very heavy subject that you're bringing out. And I cannot imagine what it feels like for a parent to have their children taken away from them. A parent who is mentally healthy and capable, just because the government right now is under such a tyrant indoctrination, and they just go for what they feel is right, which is probably the worst for the children's well-being. Thank you, Tasha. You shared your number here, and is this for Wendy or anyone? But
No, you said we'll talk at a later date, so I was just sharing it. I just shared it to you. I just direct messaged you.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
But that's okay. I just wanted to add to what Wendy was saying. I know that case of that young boy, and the one who had herpes, and they moved the principal to a different location or a different school, and they're in foster care. I think it's the same family. Anyway, I just spoke with somebody a couple weeks ago about this, and
I think it is the same family.
There's some stuff going on in Calgary that it's really, really, really dark.
It's the Wall family. Yeah, it's the Lee family, the Wall family. I worked with them for 3 years.
Okay.
I went to court with them. I can tell you that they should have never, ever had their children removed. In fact, twice the The CAS lost the case against them and they still didn't return their children home twice. They should have had their children returned home because they won in court. They showed that the government didn't have a case against them. And they're just one family, but many, many families are having their children taken who are not drunkards. They're not abusers. They are not bad parents. They've never spanked their parents, that family. They don't drink. They don't take any drugs. The mother's a trained teacher, and they were really excellent parents who provided educational tools and materials. Their kids are smart, and their kids are a lot of artistic. Their daughter's a gifted artist. There's another family who's got a gifted artist, but they had been bullied in school. They have some learning difficulties. If you have learning difficulties in your children, CAS takes that as an excuse to take your children. So they're a fine-tuned money-making machine.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the ways that we can help protect these children is to have a really great homeschooling defense for them.
Wendy, let's also, and I'll remind everyone here, we have a Telegram chat, right? It's the Life Force Education Telegram group. So
Chat?
yeah, and it's on the Life Force Canada website under the Forums and Education. So if you join that Telegram group, we'll have more way of sharing information and contact information and bring up some of the things that were mentioned here there, so the discussion can keep flowing, not just in the Zoom, but after the Zoom as well. So keep in mind our Telegram group, and we can have it as a supportive platform to the Zoom calls, as well as just a place where we post information. There are about 100 members there right now. It was about 50, and in the past month, another 50 joined. So we're definitely growing. I want to be mindful of the time. It's 7:40, and we have a few more people here that haven't shared, and I'd love to hear from you, even just a minute or two. So please raise your hand if you haven't shared yet. And yeah. I see David and Jay and their 2 phone numbers. Karen, of course, Karen is here. Karen, would you like to say a few things? Okay, so I'll wait a minute. So David is mute, Jay is muted. That's okay. I mean, if some people do not want to share, that's totally fine by me. And what I'd like to say here, that my plan for our calls is, again, to bring speakers and to bring to share topics, but also to have you express what it is that you'd like me to bring, or topics for conversations. And for that, the Telegram chat is a really good platform. I'm gonna try and find the link to the Telegram group so I can share it here with you. So give me a second. I will copy it and paste.
I put it in chat already.
Oh, thank you so much, Brian. Amazing. Okay. There you go. It's right there at the bottom. Telegram Education Forum. Wonderful. So we've heard from Brian and Rita, from Tasha and Wendy. Yes, Karen, come on up.
Hi, Hila. Glad to be here. Yeah, I apologize for being late. I've had internet problems. I tried actually for a full half hour trying to get in on the call on my computer, on my phone. Oh yeah, my phone, my cell phone, and then I tried the phone, and I did get in the waiting room, but maybe you didn't see me. So like on my landline. Yeah, so I just wanted to be here to support your call and send some hugs there to Rita. Nice to see you, Rita. And with that, I'll yield.
Thank you, Karen. And in the beginning, I don't know if it was in the recording or whether you were here, but I said how much I'm grateful for Life Force Canada and all the platforms that you're offering. Karen Klessen and all the other leaders and members. I mean, as I said, for me in the past 2 years, it was such a place for support and for getting information and for sharing. So this is wonderful. And I guess this is how we can co-create network and bring up solution. And I know that Life Force Canada, the focus is also on solution. We're not just about discussing, which is great, but like some tangible ideas and things that, oh, Norma Jean is coming in. There we go. So, hello, Norma Jean. Oh, you're muted.
I was using the link from the Telegram page and it wasn't working.
Oh.
And I put in the ID and everything and that didn't work either. And just now I saw the email and went, oh, I'll try that one. So
Yeah.
I apologize for being late.
I apologize.
Norma Jean, sorry, that was one problem. Yes, I was wondering if maybe the link got broken in the Telegram because I had to keep entering it in manually. So we'll have to check that.
It just
Hila.
kept saying invalid meeting number.
Okay, so that was
Yeah.
the first Zoom that I've created a few weeks ago that was on the website too, but apparently something went wrong there. And only today we've created the new Zoom link that we will use from now on. So perhaps you went to a post that wasn't from today. So
No, it was it was at the bottom of the thread.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was the new link that wasn't working for me. So we'll have to do some checking on that. But if no one else had a problem, then
When I came in, you click on the link in the, what is that called? Join the forum link there.
Mhm.
And then you click on that and then you have to register. And then there's dates that you can pick to register for. So
Yeah,
I
that's-
went through that process. I did it about 4 times before then I realized, okay, I'm going to register for all of them. And I think there were 6 available. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going to happen next week, but I think we should try to make it as easy as possible to get in here.
Right. I'll have to get a tutorial from someone on Zoom and like a fast.
yeah, we'll do some testing, Hila, and see if we have a problem there. So I'll coordinate that with you.
Thank you. Thank you. You're so helpful, Karen. It's amazing behind the scenes with the promotion and putting the right information in the right places. I'm really grateful for that because that's my challenge for sure at this point. A few things that I wanted. First of all, I'm curious if people signed up for all the dates. I wonder if you'll get a reminder or how will that work? That'll be interesting. But another thing that is more on our topic, and Norma Jean, I wonder if you'd like to share a little bit about last year and some things that you would want to see or think are very important for now to bring up. I mean, we talked about definitely the SOGI and in general how the public government education system is not serving our children or ourselves, as some of us shared from their experiences, and noticing that we can definitely make some improvement, and whether it's within the system or create the new system, which is where my heart goes to, creating the new. And so yeah, I've asked other people to share, but I haven't seen them joining in or raising their hand. So I know you came last, but I'm opening the floor for you because because you
Because I always have a lot to say.
because you were leading those calls.
All good though, all good, Norma Jean.
Well, thank you, Hila. I actually had lots of fun last year facilitating the think tank, which is what it was called back then. And I met so many wonderful people, all of you guys included, and talked to so many great educators and parents that were concerned. And we looked at all kinds of different education models that exist within Canada and around the world. That was really enlightening, right? It was like, whoa, we can do better. We are doing better in certain places, and how can we do that? And I'm with you. You and I've been to protests together. We've spoken together at different events, and you know, I think the time is now where people are turning their mind to taking action. We did lots of talking about it, which was great. I mean, that's step one, right? And so now I see, you know, lots of people that came every week slowly started leaving because they were busy taking action. And, you know, I know that's where you're at, that's where I'm at. And that's important. And that's, yeah. So I'm excited to be here and let you guide the ship these days. So.
Wonderful. Thank you, Norma Jean. And just like I've extended an invitation to Tasha to speak on unschooling, I'd love for you to share about what you're doing in your, remind me the name, it's learning.
Time to Shine teaching. Yeah.
Time to Shine teaching. There you go. So
yeah, it's pretty exciting. I'm very excited about the direction that it's headed. So, and I actually have a webinar I'm doing tomorrow evening and then next Tuesday at noon as well. And it's free. It's just me talking about sort of like my top 5 kind of foundational things that I use in teaching. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm a Orton Gillingham trained reading and spelling specialist. And so I'm developing a curriculum after 20 years in the classroom and most of it spent in primary grades. I was just like really disappointed in the literacy programs that I saw. And even though I was doing a lot of Pro D with teachers and EAs and training and stuff, and they would walk away going, oh my gosh, that was fantastic. And, you know, they saw the results I was getting. I just was always up against this wall of reluctance with teachers not wanting to try something new, right? Like just that not having the confidence or being too comfortable in what they did. I'm not really sure exactly where the stumbling block was. I'm sure it was different for everybody. But, you know, that's why I'm so excited about learning pods and the micro schools, because those are the ones that are saying, yeah, we got a problem, Houston, and we need to change it. And let's look at this. So I have a learning pod in, I think I would call it a micro school, somewhere in the middle, in Summerland, that's using they're doing a pilot of my program, which is reading, spelling, and printing all combined. And they are loving it. Like the teacher is so jazzed. She can't believe how easy it is, how much fun it is, and how much the kids are just like soaking it up. They love it. So, which I knew they would, because I've been doing this for almost 20 years and the kids love it. So it's pretty exciting to me to see it happening in a school. So, but I would love to do a presentation one day. Sure.
Wonderful. So I'll get in touch with both of you. Jay just put a comment that can only listen but can't really speak. So that's okay. That's okay. So anyone else? I see there are 2 phone numbers. I'm not sure if you can speak and if you want to share. David, are you here? Would you like to share? It's a kind of multitasking to speak and then look at the comments, and it's a bit confusing.
Can Norma Jean please put those webinars in the chat, please?
You're muted,
Yes.
Norma Jean.
I was clicking, so I'm like, I'll turn my microphone off. Yeah, absolutely, Rita, I'll do that. And
on the Telegram group.
yeah, I think I put it on the Telegram group. But yeah, I'll put it in here as well. And, you know, I can always add you to my email list as well. And then you get all those kind of notifications and all the specials and all the freebies I'm giving away and all that kind of stuff too. So
Yeah, I would love that.
sure.
Do
Can
you
you,
still have my address?
I was just going to say, could you refresh my memory? You can just say-
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Wow, the hour just flew. It's 7:53, and I'd like to conclude by speaking a little bit about the next call, which I would like to have a presentation with Michael Fraser, who is the co-founder with me of the New Earth Network. And we're going to talk a little bit about our online course, Start Your Learning Pod. And I feel that this is a step-by-step, hands-on way to empower parents to take that first step and to listen to how it can be done in quite a simple way. It can be actually really fun, and one can even build it up as a small business. So if you wanna, parents can either collaborate and then everybody do their part, or they can hire some teachers or instructors. It can be a combination. There's different ways of configuring a learning pod. So before even speaking to that, I'll just say that Michael and I met in May 2021 outside the Vancouver School Board, where we held a gathering of parents that just showed up quite disturbed about the fact that the school board issued a letter saying that every child 12 and up can get the COVID-19 vaccine without parental consent. And that was the line for us. And so we had a few gatherings, and we were a delegate at the Vancouver School Board Committee. It was called the Student Wellbeing Committee. And we spoke there for 5 minutes explaining why we feel that those experimental vaccines can be dangerous, and why we demand informed consent. And of course, we were met with quite a negative reaction, and then they ignored us completely. We continue to have protests and gathering outside the Vancouver Coastal Health, the BC Teachers Federation, and it seems like fighting with the system is not going to get us much. It felt like things are so corrupt and rigged, and it's really a system that is for profit. It's not a system that is for our children, not the well-being of our children. And that's where Michael and I thought, you know what? Instead of like wasting time, so to speak, with fighting against, let's exit and build. Let's help ourselves as parents and other parents and educators to find a way to build the new system. And it took a while. And for me, I left Vancouver, and then after a month I came back. I was about to teach in a nature school, and that project fell through. It was quite a challenging experience, but coming back, Michael and I recouped and started to build the concept of the New Earth Network. So I'm so excited about that. I would love to do the best I can to empower as many parents and educators and people who want to be part of this network, and find a different way, a better way, a brighter way, an inspiring way, a way that we can really honor children for who they are, and honor ourselves and honor a community. How can we do that in a way that serves everybody? and help a community be stronger. For example, multi-generational teaching and projects involving seniors. This is something that I've been doing in my own after school and learning pod. And it's always such an amazing experience. It's a win-win for everybody. So it's 7:48.
Can I just interject for 1 second, Hila? You just made me think about my my dad. He's been gone for a long time, but he lived in a care home for quite some time. He was 95 when he passed. So, but one of the joys of his life, one of the highlights of his month, or I think it was twice a month maybe, the kids came from a local school, and it was like an adopted grandparent program. And she would come and they would read together, they would play games, she would do art, he would tell her about his life, because of course he lived at a time, he was born in a time that was so foreign to anything she could even fathom, right? And he loved it, and I and she loved him, and because I've read the cards that she made him, right, Grandpa Bruce, and it was just like, still makes my heart feel good. So I think multi-generational is wonderful for everybody. For everybody.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
Right. So on this wonderful note, anyone else wants to share something before we end our Zoom meeting tonight?
I'm just thinking I'm getting really close to that multi-generational thing. Getting closer and closer.
Yep.
Karen has her hand up.
Oh, Karen, yes, please.
Yes, thank you. We want to talk about children growing things, right? And gardening and all that sort of thing. So that's an important topic.
Yes. Would you like to have a presentation on that in one of our calls?
Sure, you
Wonderful.
could do that. Yeah, sure.
Amazing. Oops, that's my alarm.
Yeah, getting back to nature, definitely.
Yes, yes. So there's much more to talk about and share, but let's end tonight with respect to our time and honor our time and our evening. And I thank you so much for joining in from wherever you're at, BC, Alberta. I think there was someone from Ontario tonight. So
Manitoba.
Manitoba, where? Who?
Karen.
Karen.
Yes.
Okay, well, have a good night, and I'll see you next time. And let's use the Telegram chat to keep the conversation going and share information. Wonderful. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Karen,
Thanks.
Karen, phone me.
Will do, Rita. Okay. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Night.